This is an update to the massacre that occurred. It's been a week ago Saturday now. Giffords, who, see if I can get you. There's Gabby Giffords. She's the one that got shot in the head through and through. And she opened her eyes the other day. As if you had watched TV, you would have seen the President Obama, who decided it was okay to come to Arizona because someone got shot, and show support for that. And I have to say, even though I can't stand Obama, I have to admire the speech that he finally gave, a speech that was worthy of a president in my mind. It actually had real context. It meant something. And it was inspirational. I can't believe I'm saying positive things about Obama, but he did a good job on his speech. Anyway, Gabby. Opened her eyes for the first time about 3 days ago, and then I think it was the day before yesterday, she actually put her legs down over the side of the bed and moved them. So despite the bullet going through her brain, she's actually making slow but steady progress. This is Judge John Roll. Right here. He was the one that was killed. And the assassin shot him in the back while he was running away. Remember I told you that he was a coward? Yeah. You bring your gun up in front of unarmed Americans who don't have any method of self-defense, and you especially want to shoot them as they're running away from you in the back because you're so brave, because you're such a man. That's the way you do it, boy. Okay, this one here. This is the little 9-year-old, and I still get choked up when I think of her. Here's Christina Green. She was laid to rest just 3 days ago now. And, well, I can't talk about her because I get choked up. She was a neat little gal, really coming into her own. She was there because she wanted to see Gabby. She wanted to see, she heard about the politics in action, and she wanted to be involved in herself as a citizen. And then she gets shot for her efforts. This one down here is Gabe Zimmerman. He was also shot. He was shot and killed also. So it turns out the total fatality was 6 people, 6 people killed, 18 people shot and injured. You know, Grijalva, I bet you this will keep people out of Arizona. If you don't want to stay out of Arizona, you remember you had the Arizona boycott? Yeah. anti-Arizona. I bet you having massacres in Arizona will certainly be a deterrent for having people come in Arizona. How do you feel about this one? Huh? I noticed on your last address to the nation that to Arizona and about the massacre that your voice was quivering a little bit. Makes me go, Anyway, just wondering if that worked into your plan. If it doesn't, fine. Just was curious. I thought since you didn't want people coming into Arizona that this may certainly be working in your favor. I better edit that part out. But I wanted to give some detail. The Arizona Star had a picture of, for those of you that, look at the girl's knees. Here's a rescue person who has bent down in somebody's blood to help them. They're leaning over somebody right there in the cot. That's the reality of what my sister saw when she went out there that day. My sister works in the Walgreens adjacent to the massacre, the right next door to the Safeway that was there. They had him in lockdown till it turned out to be about 6:20 that night. My sister, who is a wife and mother, and she has had no real formal training in first aid or emergency training. And I got to talk with her the day after just to see how she was doing, because she had to walk out and see the blood on the pavement. And she did hear the shots going off. And I want to know how she was doing upstairs. And emotionally. And my sister, I'm so proud of her. I hope someday she gets to watch this video, because I just have to tell her she responded in just about every perfect way in meeting people's needs that day. There were people who had been shot, and she helped with compression. There's a fellow who had been shot in the foot, and she remembered to put a cushion under his head. She remembered to raise his foot and to keep compression on the wound. She remembered to she brought out blankets from the store to keep people from going into shock. I mean, she did everything. Bingo, bingo, bingo. She's a natural. And I told her that. I said, Laura, you helped save lives that day. I am so proud of her. God bless her heart. You know, and there was a span of time between, I'm not putting I rescue people down here, so we have an excellent trauma unit here in town. But there is always going to be a span of time from when you call an emergency and to when the first responders show up. And it's in that time that you as common citizens, as common citizens, have to, one, protect ourselves from assailants. And I talked about that in the first video, about arming yourself, defending yourself. And two, you have to keep your head to be able to turn back around when the danger is past and start helping those that need help. You have to know your first aid. You have to be equipped. Always carry a first aid kit in your vehicle. Carry a little one in your purse. And know how to use the things that are in there. People from all over the world were calling into Walgreens, into my sister's store, from all over the world, trying to get information about what had happened, when it had happened. It's not just something that touched Arizona or Tucson. It's not just something that touched Arizona and United States. Everybody all over the world so many people called and countries wanted to know what was going on. One more hot spot about this massacre that I want to address is, for those of you that think that your politics are more important than being empathetic with the people who are mourning, you're wrong. One of the things I saw that come out of this was people were so quick to jump on the bandwagon about whether they were Republican or Democrat or independent or Hispanic or white. And I'm just going, what the heck are you doing? This is a time of mourning. This isn't a time for bringing up the banners and saying, look what the Republicans are doing, or look what the Tea Party's doing. Are you crazy? There are people dying in the street. There are family who are losing family members, and you're worried about your frickin' politics? And besides, the people the person who was flashing that banner saying Republicans are at the root of this, it says here in the Sunday, January 9th paper that Loeffner, as you know by now, is the assailant. He wasn't even registered as a Republican. He's registered as an independent. So for those of you who think you know what you're doing, maybe you need another brain slice, because what you got going isn't going. Oh, Loeffner had met Giffords before, and he seemed to work on his own logic trails, which were not logical. That he was putting the blame on all the other people instead of taking responsibility for himself. There was a Dr. Stephen Rail who helped to hold the Loeffner down. But that was after the two witnesses had tackled him. And how about our little old lady who is 61 years old who reaches over? Oh my gosh. They had Loeffner on the ground, and this little 61-year-old lady reached over and she grabs the magazine cases out of Loeffner's hand, the one that was empty, and the other one he was trying to get loaded into the gun, and she grabs it and snatches it away from him. Hey, go girl. You know, see, it doesn't matter age. It doesn't matter age. If you look and keep your eyes open, there's always something you can do to help. See if there's anything else in the paper I can bring up real quick here. Most people ducked for cover or ran when the shooting began. Ducking for cover sounds like a good idea to me. I guess the thing that really bugged me the most about, or one of the things that's bugging me right now, is the look on Loeffner's face while he's going through his lockup. I have to look for that picture on the web, and I'll try to stick it in with this follow-up commentary, because it just makes me want to put my foot through his face. But you know what, Loeffner? You think you're so brave, and you handle the situation the way you wanted it by massacring helpless Americans. You know, you tried to kill a politician, you failed. The judge isn't a politician, so he doesn't count. So who else did you shoot? Volunteers? And pedestrian people? And a little 9-year-old girl? Is that your success rate? Is that what you're patting yourself on the back about? God, you really are a loser. Whether you know it or not. This is a picture from the Washington Post. Just take a gander at those eyes. Look at the smirk on that face. You'd think he really accomplished something. Okay. I have some names for you now. And it's names if you want to. You can celebrate with me because these guys are heroes. 1. Roger Schulzenberger. Schulzgeber. A Joseph Zamudi. Zimudie. Daniel Hernandez, who was Gabby's volunteer helper there. He's the one that spent so much time with her and helped her save her life through compression on the wound. And he was also there right in front with when Obama was visiting that night. I don't know why all these people weren't right in front. They should have been. And of course, 61-year-old Patricia Maish. She's the one that yanked the ammo cartridges out of Jerkoff's hand. Apparently, there's a resolution that was read on the House floor Wednesday to honor the victims of the massacre. And let me get down here. It talks a lot about Gabriel. Of course, he was in there with the politician, helping her. But then it also mentions down here, it says, whereas several of those in attendance this event, including the Patricia, the Roger, the Joseph, and the Daniel, helped apprehend the gunman and assist the injured, thereby risking their lives for the safety of others, and should be commended for their bravery. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what the resolution read, is the names and their bravery. It says, the measure also applauds the bravery and quick thinking exhibited by those individuals who prevented the gunmen from potentially taking more lives and helped to save those that are wounded. My sister could have logically been in there on a small part because she had helped with compression and shock and all the usual things that typically don't hit the front page. And yet it helps save lives. Let's see if I can go up here a little more and get some quotes from the people involved. I'll put links in the description here if you folks want to go read it yourself. It says Bill Badger was someone that helped to stop the carnage as well. And and of course our 61-year-old hero Patricia is the one that yanked the magazines away from Loeffner, so he couldn't shoot anybody more, keep him unarmed. Says others jumped on him and held him down as well and ripped the gun from his hand. You know, this is the part that's so important about keeping your head in an emergency. These people kept their head. They made sure they were safe and other people were safe, but then they turned back around and kept their head so that more people couldn't get hurt. It's so important. We can practice this kind of thing. We can take our families into the shooting galleries and learn how to use the weapons. We can talk about self-defense. We can talk about what-if situations. What if this has happened to you? What would you do? What would your alternatives be? It's so important. And it's not just that you get involved because you're ex-Marine or because you're a survivalist or a prepper. You want your whole family involved. You want all your loved ones involved in this training, in this update. And you don't need to scare them with stuff. It needs to go through and say, look, I love you. I want you protected. I want us protected. And here's what we're going to do to achieve that. Set it out. Put it up in little chunks. If you can't achieve the whole thing in a month, of course, cut it down in little pieces and achieve a little bit in time until you feel that you and your family and your friends and your neighbors are at a place where they have less worry on their mind if something like this should happen. Just remember, Loeffner, what goes around comes around. Yours is coming.